Good morning, everyone. Afternoon. I'll give you a couple minutes to get logged on here. Um, yes, bunches of pipples today. Let me look something up real quick. Hey, it looks like we have lots of people on and actually no live faces. So I'm going to make my face live. Thanks, Kendra. Linda. Oops, hang on. I had a meeting and I moved that around. Oh, see, look, I guilted you into it. I love it. Thank you all. So good afternoon, everyone. I know you're excited to be here. I wish I could say that I've just been on the edge of my seat for this one, but really, this is the one that I'm a little bit nervous about. So, I'm not sure who all has been on before. I think some of you have. I think some of you are new. So I'm going to give you a little bit of background in what we're doing. We are recording all of these. And if I can get, I've already moved all of them to our YouTube page. If you ever want to find the YouTube page, I wish I could tell you, oh, we have it linked right off the main thing of our website, but I'm not sure we do. You can get there by CTU. You log into health, and it's one of the things under health resources. It's one of the links. All of these have been saved. I can also send them to you if you need. Those of you who are new to the potty, I'm feeling like this. Oh, that's what's wrong. I don't have my background. Hang on. Yeah, I need to filter. Oh, no, it's going to make me download. Okay, just don't look at my dirty office. That's what I was trying to do. I usually try and blur everything out, so I apologize. So what we do is we take a look at what everyone across the state is doing, and we have been tasked with coming up with a number that represents what most of our programs are doing in the state. We do not have, we can say that this all got started through federal financial aid, which I know is kind of, it's not a lot of fun for everyone else to do or to deal with. If you don't have federal financial aid, you're going, yeah, well, you're wasting my time. Our problem is we have about half of our programs are for high school students and about the other half are for adult. We have accredited programs. We have non-accredited adult programs. We have a range of hours. I'm going to take you out and show you here. Hang on. I know this is the best part, is when you don't have to look at my face and I can send. I'm going to share. And do I have that document? Yep, master meeting document. So, and share. Gosh, it's that second share that gets me every dang time. So you can see what I have, this document. So I'm going to go up all the way to the top. And so you can see that Emily she is a little ray of sunshine that now all the other divisions hate, because she has come up with this. No one else, I don't know if anyone else has gone to this trouble, but my boss is like, ooh, Emily, look at you, color coded things and everything on one sheet. And so she really has been amazing. And not a lot of other divisions have this detail from what I understand. Anyone else been in any of those? Kendra, I bet you've been in some other meetings. Alicia,
I haven't seen any color coding, no.
Okay, so we're still number one. Is that what you're saying?
I guess so.
Anyway, it's obviously not necessarily in order, but you can see, I want you all to see what I'm seeing, okay? Because this is my challenge. My challenge is to come up with something that makes most of us happy, okay? Not always the easiest of issues, mainly because we only have so many SIP and SOC codes. And so there is a medical assistant SIP code that relates to a medical assistant SOC code. The only way, and I'm out there looking on this right now, that's what I was pulling up just while you guys were all coming on screen, is I'm trying to see if there's any other way we could call these two different things and have a long version and a short version. It's because I want to make as many people happy as possible, but at the same time, it's really hard. So Autry, I just want to show you all, I'm not going to show you every person's everything. I just want you to see the variety that we have here and kind of what's going on in my head as I look at this. So as far as I know, we have Crystal Connor, is your program accredited?
This is Cindy Miner.
Yes.
Oh, Cindy's there too. Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Crystal, go ahead.
Yes, my program is an accredited program through CAHAP.
Okay, so what that means to those of you that may or may not know is that CAHAP has worked with her. She has submitted, these are the number of hours, these are the courses I'm doing, and so on. Right off the bat, Crystal, you are the one person that will not be affected by anything we talk about today, because your third-party accreditation is going to take the, they're going to be the ones that that we go with what they say. Okay. So yeah,
That's what I was most concerned about.
I thought I'd just get that out of the way. So if you want to like have lunch or something, go right ahead. But you can see that we have everything, and I may call you out as we get through, as we go to some of these, if I need some help explaining. But I want you to see that for many of these programs, we are including additional things. So looks like Rocio, yours is pretty straight up. You've got MedTerm, AMP, and then you've got Intro to Medical Assisting, you've got a clinical, a couple procedures classes, and a pharmacology. So that's pretty locked and loaded, standard. This is what everyone needs to know. And if I were going to design a beautiful non-accredited program, those are probably the things that I would put in it, just because that's, you know, that's pretty much what everyone needs. Yeah. I might fight for CPR first aid, but hey, that's just a number of adding more hours. So Wes Watkins, you can see, I'm not doing this to pick again. I'm just wanting everyone to see they also include AMP and MedTerm. They also include some additional, they include some other professions in there as well. And this happens in many of yours. That's very common. And then job readiness we have across the board too. We've got Tulsa Tech, you've got a medical assisting 1 and 2, and then is your adult program, Jill, is it accredited? No. Okay. I just was wondering because, but you run this as an adult program, just like the medical assisting program at that Crystal does is, and we'll get to yours in a minute, Crystal. I'm going to keep going to Canadian Valley. You can see this is a little, I'm very familiar with what they're doing. This particular one at Cowan, they are doing a registered apprenticeship for, I didn't realize it was 4,000. I thought it was like 2,300 hours. But anyway, regardless, it's not going to reflect what anyone else here's reflects. Okay. So, yeah, so that's just a different way that we're going to have to figure out how to handle these Department of Labor apprenticeship programs. This is their other medical assisting, and you can see we've got A&P, we've got some clinical courses, we've got procedures, CPR, MedTerm, Pharm, and phlebotomy. So DrumRight and Sapulpa, you can see there's Sapulpa down there. Their two are exactly the same, these 705-hour courses. Do we have anyone from DrumRight or Sapulpa here with me? My question to you, if you are here, is this I don't believe it is adults only, but I guess that would be my question is this high school and adults? And is this adults, the DrumRight medical assistant down below? Anyone here from DrumRight? Okay. Okay. So we'll just scooch on through those. They have two different setups there, similar to Tulsa Tech has two different setups. One for one level of hours and one for another. Let's see, Chisholm Trail, we've got some of the same kinds of classes. And they've got it at 450. Here's another one for Chisholm Trail where they've added some other hours in. Let's look at Francis Tuttle. Has their medical assisting. I don't think we meant for this bottom one to be on there. I think our addition is wrong. So, or this is what it really is, what we have right here. I don't know, but
That's correct. Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah. So you can get rid of the last two on the Reno campus.
This one is not correct, right?
Right.
Jennifer. Okay, cool. Thanks.
Mhm.
I figured, I was like, I'm not a good math person, but I don't think that adds up. Great Plains and Frederick, you can see we've got some EKG added in, a lot of the core. So I say these things to say it looks like many of our schools, many of you have had this as maybe an option for a second year student, someone who's probably already taken core, and then they have that second year where they can add certifications. And medical assisting has been our most beautiful one that we can stick a bunch of crap under, because there's a lot of things that can fall under it, right? Medical assistants do EKGs, medical assistants do, some of them do radiology aid, right? Some of them do front office, some do back office, some do, did I say phlebotomy already? I don't know, but so we're kind of all over the board at what we offer and why. And I do think the why is because we all are trying to meet our local needs. High Plains, I know that they have a number of adults in their classroom as well. So some of these hours too that we look at may be a first year, second year, or a whole 900 hour, like Mid-America has here, a whole 900 hour medical assistant. So, but you can see some of those same classes are ones that we may have had in other things too. So I don't know if these are adults or high school in these classes. I do know that anything over 600 hours is eligible for federal financial aid. And so please understand, that's why I've said it before, and we have all done what we've had to do to play within the rules for our students to be able to get financial aid, and also for us to be able to collect data on our crazy little system. So someone came in the other day and I said, whew, these things. And they said, it's just a job. All of us are just trying to do our jobs. Whatever our job is, we're trying to make it the best way we can for the people that we're serving. And I think that's exactly right. Mid-Del, I think, did I pull that up? No, that was Mid-America. Mid-Del looks like they have a 900 hour. Pioneer 650. And you all have a whole separate medical assisting teacher, correct, Kendra? Or is it an option with?
It's one of the
your-
option. We have 3
Oh,
options
okay.
within that same instructors group.
Okay. So this is an option. I know that at one time, if
Yes,
I'm not mistaken, we did have a whole medical assistant that was just medical assisting in adults. A lot of
that's
it.
correct. Now
Okay.
we offer it to high school and adults.
Okay, great. So Red River, we have down for 954, and you can see their courses. I'm going to scooch over here. And I don't know, I assume you can still see with the same, here's Southerns. So we have clinical intro 1 and 2 pharmacology. So the basics at 525 looks like Moore Norman, and this is our accredited program. So this is what our adult only accredited program has for her courses. And she does include AMP and MedTerm in there. And I do want to point out that there are multiple front office courses as well. So we've got healthcare informatics, insurance, coding, and so on, and administrative office procedures, which many of you may not be doing front office. This is why I'm trying to find the correct sip and sock. So maybe we can finagle.
Laura,
What's wrong?
my program isn't solely adults. It's actually still adults and high school. I don't know that that matters to anything you're saying, but it's not solely adult.
Oh, okay. Okay. I just didn't think you could have a accredited program with any high school students in it. So that's why I said that. I apologize. Looks like Northeast, we've got certified clinical medical assistant, fundamentals, and then we've got a concepts of nursing in there too. Metro, we have clinical procedures, medical informatics, medical office. And I know that this one for many, many years, I don't know if you still are accredited or not, but I remember that it was adult only for a long time. Is it still, Jeremiah?
Kathy's on the call. I don't think we continue our accreditation. It is set
Okay.
up for students, but we don't currently serve high school students with this program.
Okay, sorry, Kathy. You could have answered that. I apologize. Okay, takes us up to Meridians. Theirs is right around 600 hours. Indian Capital, 600 hours. And then Kiamichi, yours, oh, it's not all the same. How unusual. Okay, we've got 2 options. We've got a 525 option and a 1050 option. Okay, and that's all. So let me look and see what the next page, she usually has stuff at the bottom. There it is, or the next page. So hang on, these are all the courses that people have used in this. That's what all those pink things are. Okay, so I'm just off the top of my head, I'm going to say that we are probably the most common. The biggest number is 1050. The smallest is probably, there was one, I think Canadian Valley's 340 before they did the apprenticeship. The DOL apprenticeship was somewhere around 340. And then we also have lots of programs that are, I'm going to say, around the 525, 600 hour range. Would you guys all agree with that from what you're looking at as well? If you had to, okay, so this is when it gets sticky. So I'm just going to throw out that there are many, and not very many of you have done this. So that we have a number of schools that have indicated that they'll be using 480 as their normal, out of what their high school students will be at. I'm not, it matters not to me one whit. They've just figured out that we really can't count 525 hours because we really don't have them in our classrooms that long when you take everything out. Anyway, so we've changed a lot of these. We've had, if there was any way possible, we've had a small version and a large version. So everyone would have some sort of something that was close to what they wanted to offer. In this situation, we have lots and lots of 600s and around 900s. And more, Norman, you're out of the loop because you are 1,050, but you're accredited by a third party. So, and I'm looking for Metro. Did I pass it? Beep. No, but I remember it was dark green. Maybe, maybe not. Sorry, everyone. Okay, I'm a liar. I've got Kaimishi's is dark green. And I know the difference. Mid-America's bright green, Northeast, Pioneer. I may not have your course. I know I went over your course list, didn't I, Metro? Anyway, sorry, total sidebar. But we may have just inadvertently left it off of here. Oh, chat, someone's chatting. Want to make sure I address it. Andrea, it's in bright blue. Was that yours? Okay. Anyway, so I'm trying to figure out what's the best thing. Oh, thank you, Andrea Long. I do so appreciate it. She found it for me. It is 960. So, okay. So I need some, this is, let's stop sharing for a second. So this is where I'm at mentally. I have been looking through everything I can. So I stopped sharing, but I'm going to share again. And then in a couple minutes, I'm going to ask for some actual feedback from people. Yay, we all get to talk instead of just Laura. I want you to see that in support occupations with my SOC codes, I'm pretty stuck, okay? I've got medical assistant, which is just exactly what we know and love. There is something called healthcare support workers, all others, okay? I don't like things not being what they really are. I want them to be what they are. Not everyone is doing phlebotomy as part of theirs, I do not believe. And so my initial thing was, okay, well, I'll make a small, we already have a career in medical services called medical services phlebotomy, but I could encourage people to use that one for the 480 and then encourage people to use medical assisting for a 900-hour option. This is just what's been going in my head. Please don't start writing things down and getting upset because I'm just trying to figure out how it's going to make everyone, how it's going to work for everyone. So my only option that I could think of was if I could find something that was similar, because we did this with Vision Care the other day. We don't have very many programs, but that was a way we were able to come to a consensus. It was for a short program, which is one career, and the second program actually takes a different test. It's a different career. But that's the only other thing I know to do. Now I have the SIP code, I have the SIP codes up as well. Okay, so I'm going to share this, let you see what I see. You know, when I say those words, it makes me want to sing again. Do you see what I see? I know. This is what goes on in my head all the time, people. Health professions, you can see we start up here and we're going to scroll down. So close your eyes if you get sick. Okay, we have a lot of health and medical administrative services. These are, you can see that's where our health unit clerk is. We also have a lot of medical office management, administration. We have a lot more options under SIP codes than we do standard occupation codes. So one thing that's nice, I mean, I'm looking, well, you know, would this one work? Health management and clinical assistant / specialist. You know, we've got receptionists, but these all say they're front office, right? And then when I scroll down here, these are that I've got medical / clinical assistant, and then it goes to all other things, except for allied health and medical assisting services other. So if I just want to be totally transparent with you, I would love, I'm going to turn it over to you guys now, and let's see if there is something that you can help. I can only have one template that says medical assistant. And then whatever else we would do would have to be called something else. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. I've already heard Tulsa Tech. I know you have 2 separate things. You guys you sent me all the stuff already. I know what you're doing in each of those. I know you have adults and high school students taking about the same number of hours. You have your students separated, adults, high school. Tell me your preferences first, just because I know you've been on so many of these, you're not afraid to talk.
Laura, this is Denise at the Health Science Center. For us, that 600, our adult program, is very important because most of the students in that program are on financial aid.
Okay.
So if we lost those hours, if we went below the 600, it would substantially hurt our program.
Okay. Sounds that.
Laura, can I ask one more question?
Sure,
in
Jill.
regards to the SOC and SIP? So I just want to understand that I'm hearing each SOC can only have one set of hours, regardless if there's multiple SIPs that could crosswalk with it.
I'm hoping that technically right now it's supposed to be a 1-to-1, and that's the way that's the way we've done it. I'm willing to look for or see if there is any other correlation, like allied health, medical assisting services, and just a second, I'm going to go back over here to SOC.
Well, I'm just like in other programs, like in IT programs, the same SOC might be used, but it's crosswalk with different SIPs, and those are getting different hours. So that's why I'm trying to figure out how it's like what the rule is as far as
That's great.
SOC is SIP.
And maybe that is the answer, is other people haven't been the one-to-one worrying about it. And if that's true, and then I'm fine with it. Again, once again, we haven't met as a group since we've started all these meetings, which I know is just a horrible thing to admit to you guys, I know, but yeah, like everyone's been on accreditation visits, or they're doing, we've got division people, and my boss has been going on every accreditation visit. So in order for her to coordinate a meeting where we could all talk about this, we just haven't. So because this isn't the final word, when I walk out of here, we're done with medical assisting. It's let's get some information, let's sit down and look at everything, and then let's see what we can bring back to the group and show everyone. And I think other divisions, and you're telling me they are doing that, right? That they are doing, they might have one SOC, but multiple SIPs.
Right. And it was my understanding that one SOC and SIP is one set of hours. But if it's one SOC with 3 different SIPs that crosswalk with that each one of those could be a different set of hours.
Right.
And
that's what I understand you to. Yeah. And that would make all the difference for us. I would like some advice on which of these, which we would like to do. If that is the case, and that's how we come up with multiple hours and so on. Oh crap. Yeah, there we go. That's fine. Just a second. I'm scrolling because I think I don't have the number in front of me. It brought up the whole book. Yay. Okay, but I'm close because I'm healthcare practitioners and technical. Should be 29 something, shouldn't it? Health technologies. Okay, so I think you are exactly right that I probably can do that. I would, so with nothing else, that I have 2 SOC codes, and I haven't wanted to do this, but medical assisting may be the death of my wants and dreams. I may have to use health technologists, technicians, or health practitioners, technical workers, all other. It may just be how it pans out, because that's otherwise, the only other thing I have on here is medical assistant, healthcare support, or medical assistant. So that's kind of where I'm at as far as losing things. What are you thinking, Linda?
So on ours, we are listed under nursing assistants, but we have, like, our certifications are the long-term care, home health,
right,
restorative, and phlebotomy.
Yeah.
And so all of those, I think, would better fall under healthcare support workers to kind of pull them all together, and not just long-term care. I don't know if that helps any, but.
So you're saying for the schools that are using it as a drop zone for lots of different professions, and this has been under my advice. I want everyone to know that when schools call me and say, what should I do and what should I call it? For all these years, we've said, we're going to say it's medical assisting, but you're going to throw the kitchen sink in underneath it. And I know that because we've had to do that. We have a lot of rural schools that are not able to, they have to have options for their students because you're not going to find jobs for 20 medical assistant students, not where you live. You might find 2, 3, and then someone else might be a long-term care aide, and someone else might be, it's just the way it works. And I understand that. Wes Watkins, that they're one of those schools for many years. They've kind of done that same thing. Okay, so and you do long-term care, home health care, and you did phlebotomy. right? And medical
Restorative,
assisting, huh?
restorative.
Restorative, okay.
Yeah, we don't do medical assisting.
Okay. So you just need a generic one, period, out there. Okay. Who else can I pick on? So Andrea and Rocio, talk to me about a shorter than 525 option. If
Autry as a whole, we're moving next school year to 960 for 2-year programs and 480 for 1-year programs. So
Okay.
we will be moving to 480 and working with Rocio on looking at the courses she's teaching and how can we decrease by 45 hours to meet that 480.
Okay.
We currently are at a 525, so we're not financial aid in that program as it is.
Okay.
I will agree with those that are speaking up that the 600, they had that for financial aid purposes.
Yep.
We struggle with enrollment in that program because it is basically the students that are self-paying because it is not a financial aid. And so we always struggle year to year to fill that program.
So if we were able to come up with a 480, a 600, and then I'm going to say 960, and Crystal, you still don't count, okay? Because third-party accreditation. So if I looked at, I know it just makes me crazy even looking at it, but if I figured out a way to do, and again, it may be what we call it on our campus. You see what I'm saying? It may be something that it may not be. Your medical assistant may not look like someone else's medical assistant. But, you know, Tulsa Tech, that would give you your 600 if we could, you know, so you're thinking, what are you talking about? I'm just wondering if, because we have a lot of people that want to do phlebotomy, and I don't know if phlebotomy should be the 480 and medical assistant should be the 600, and then we add the front office stuff into 960 and then try and come up with something else for my all over the place, my long-term care, home health care, all those things. I think I could do it, but you might not like what I call everything.
The challenge that we would have, even with the 600 class or 600-hour program, is we would have to go longer in the school year to accommodate 600 hours.
Right.
And so I don't know how many programs would extend their school year to accommodate 600 hours.
Yeah.
That's
well,
interesting.
I know Tulsa Tech is you guys are a 10-month, I mean, your teachers are there regardless for that extra 75 hours, correct?
Correct. That would work for our adults. So, I mean, ideally what you said, like the 480 and a 600, so that the 480 could be, you know, we have no problem moving our 525 to 480.
Mhm.
I think a 480, a 600, and then like a 960, like you said, would really be ideal.
And then Andrea, all I was thinking is that does allow for the possibility of you enrolling students, the adult students in the 600-hour and the other students in the 480.
But Laura, wouldn't we still be faced with the dilemma of providing 600 seat hours to those students?
Yeah, you would have to figure out, do you want to?
Right.
I'm just saying that would be an option for students to get financial aid, and then you would be able to get, then it might help enrollment. That's all I was thinking.
Okay. Thank you, Laura, for that clarification. I appreciate that.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
When you're saying you might not like what I call it, and then you're saying
Yep.
I'm not affected, so I'm assuming I would still be called medical assisting. Are you saying the remainder of the programs may no longer be called medical assisting? And then when we got together at August Summit, would we still all get together? Like, are we no longer a group? Like, what, will you explain that a little?
Sure. Well, right now, you all, when someone says, I teach phlebotomy. I go, no, you're with the medical assistants. And then they say, I do EKG. Okay, you're with the medical assisting. And I say that because, and you correct me if I'm wrong, because this is not, obviously, this is not my personal background. It is my understanding that medical assistants in Oklahoma can be trained to do really anything the doctor trains them to do and work, correct? I mean, they're not going to be in trouble as long as the doctor says, yes, I've taught them how to give a shot. I've taught them how to draw blood, or whatever the doctor signs off on in their office. So what I'm trying to say is if we called the 480 something different, like healthcare support, I don't know, that's just what's up in front of my face right this second, or you know, and that is something for our CTIM system, so that this person that teaches 480 could still do what they're doing. The person over here would be teaching, so it would still be medical assisting courses, is what I'm trying to say. Yes.
So
Then,
you're changing it in the system, but not on the door in the building.
correct. Which is a little creepy, I know, but I don't know how to make the whole world hold hands and sing Kumbaya unless we do some of those things. Because is it what sits right in my gut? No. I mean, I would much rather things be what they are. And let's just come up with an hour and everyone will be fine. But it doesn't make everyone fine. And this one is the one area that is the stickiest of all of them, just because, number one, everything but the kitchen sink can be put under medical assisting and has been put under it. So there are lots of, if you look at our, give me 1 second. I'm wondering how many little things can you open at one time before your computer crashes? How many those tabs at the top? Does anyone know? Is there a rule?
It's infinity.
Infinity. Oh my God, I'm so excited. I've never broken this many rules at once.
Hey, can I say something?
Of course.
Our MA students are both high school and adults,
Mhm.
and we have 650. Now, our high school kids come to us with A&P completed and midterm. So
Okay.
they are basically getting
Advanced standing.
credits. Yes.
Mhm.
Our adult students spend an hour extra per day
Mhm.
as a pull-out academics for A&P and midterm. So that's how we get above that number for financial aid.
Great. And yeah, and that makes complete sense. Yeah. So I want to show you this, that, and share again. So you can see this is what our framework looks like that's out on our website. So last year they said, write down everything that you all do. And so we did, but we added some things too. So I want you to see what is out there that is under medical. Okay. So I do have a medical office. The 900 hours is what there's only a couple programs, and they were at 900 last year. I put them in at 600, and all you had to do was provide justification if yours was more. None of this really applies to you, but just so you know, that is out there. And it might be helpful if I made it a little bit bigger. Hey Pep Club, that's better, isn't it? Yeah, buddy. I'm not the only one who can't see anymore. I know, because I find myself doing this, trying to take my 2 fingers and pinch and push it out and make things bigger. And it doesn't work on my computer like that. So I've got medical services, EKG. Okay, so I just want you to see the options that have been out there. So this would be if someone said, I want to do just an EKG program. Great, 525 hours, that's what we've called it. We have some certifications lined out there. Hurrah. Medical Services Health Unit Clerk. We have a few people that offer this. They offer it as more of like 120 hours along with core, if that makes sense. So you would do core, midterm, A&P, CPR, and health unit clerk. Those, for those of you who may not know, those are people who are kind of a medical assistant in the hospital. They do a lot of the record keeping and kind of keep things moving on the floor. Medical Services, Medical Assisting. So this is the one where it has, where this is the one, and these are the SIP and SOC code that we use. And you can see that it's, this is the one that we're talking about today. And it has, there's a lot of differences about what are part of medical assisting as opposed to others. And the fourth thing is phlebotomy. So what I'm trying to say is maybe we have medical services, medical assisting is the 960, maybe the phlebotomy is the 600, and maybe the something else that we come up with differently is the 480, and all three would have different courses and hours associated. That's what I've been trying to kind of explain or talk about. Okay.
I think that sounds
great. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Crystal.
I think that sounds fair and probably like the easiest way to do it, because what you say is true. And I even tell my students, I'll train you for everything a medical assistant can do, but you might go work for one doctor who has you do this, and then you'll go work for another doctor who doesn't let you do it. And both are technically following the law. So you're just going to do whatever they want you to do. So I do think it's fair. And I do think each person in their area knows what is best for where they're at. And then me being in Moore and Norman, I train a lot for Oklahoma City, Moore. And so my students do get to do just about every single thing I teach them in one place or another. But people in smaller towns may not. But then you might go to a small town where that doctor has somebody do everything as well. So I think the way you're setting it up is probably the most fair way to keep it to where we all have still somewhat control to make our programs the best they can be. So I would appreciate it. And I appreciate that you've put the thought into keeping it.
Okay. And thanks, Catherine. I see your comment. She agrees with you, Crystal, just in case you're not sure, which is good because those are my two longest programs right there. And then I also have many of you have a version of each one of those, not all three, but at least 2 out of the 3 is what it looks like. Many of you have. So, what other things do I need to know before we finish our meeting today? What would you like to ask or talk about? If in the SIP and SOC codes, I made EKG Tech the title for the 100, because I don't think we had anyone that was just straight up EKG Tech. EKG Tech, the 480, the title of it. Now, please know, I'm going to put like 120 hours EKG, and then the rest of it I'm going to do in the other couple courses. I'll probably do medical assisting courses, just say medical assisting and medical assisting clinical or something like that. You see what I'm saying? You don't have to call your courses the same thing that we put out there. You don't have to, you can adapt all of those things. And then look at doing something like the phlebotomy for the 600, and then since medical assisting includes front and back and can be any of these other areas, then it would be the 960. Would that be too weird for everyone? I know it's not exact. Again, just trying to, so when you would have it as the state name would be Medical Services EKG, but your name at Tulsa Tech would be medical assistant or medical assisting, however you guys are dividing it out now. Okay. Anyone else? Y'all, I'm getting so good at these meetings. My first ones were literally 3 hours long. Yeah. Look at me.
Would these name changes impact our follow-up at all?
Probably, dang it. But in one way though, it's no different. You would still probably have in our system a teach out. We would just have to know that that's what that is. There's no way I'm going to think, Kendra, that you are offering a 480 EKG course. Now this does it mean that the follow-up will say that? Yes. Does it mean that but our division would know any one of these three things is a medical assistant. If they show up with this SIP and SOC code, these are all medical assistant. Jennifer, you took yourself off mute.
I was just kind of waiting and making sure I wasn't interrupting that conversation.
You're not.
I had a question. So with these hours, I noticed with a lot of programs, some had A&P built in with MA and then some didn't. And so for those programs that do have it like as a prerequisite, let's say your junior year, you're doing CNA and core, and then you go into MA, you're truly able to do some more of those courses like phlebotomy and different things and kind of really beefing up that MA program. Is there a
Right.
way to differentiate that type of MA versus the MA programs that didn't have as much time and do a shorter amount of clinical procedures or phlebotomy or anything like that? Or does it even matter? I just want to, some program, no matter what is an MA, you have that, correct? You have the A&P in the midterm at some point, whether it's a prereq or within that, do we need to have that as a standard or is that?
It looked like most everyone has that in their thing. It may be called anatomy for medical assisting. But it looked like on that diagram that a whole lot that almost, or not diagram, the sheet that Emily had with all the colored things on it, that it really differentiated and showed that lots, I would say probably 75% either have MedTerm as part of this course program or as a prerequisite.
Will that impact the 600, 900 hour programs or 480 in any way? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I do. It's a good question.
That makes it a lot trickier trying to fit that in though, like, and to differentiate that. But if the purpose of all of this is so that I just remember us talking in the past, maybe in August, if you go to an Oklahoma Career Tech and you do MA, then we want everybody to know this is what you received.
Right.
And so how do we just make sure, is there a way to code that this was received as a prerequisite, but the student still has this content information?
Yeah, the only way you can is if I actually put those courses into the framework. And then again, like even, but that would mean I would have to put A&P and midterm in the EKG, right? So that'd give us 165 hours out of the 480 would be taken up already.
Well, is there not something just saying that maybe we're not going to be able to do that? So if you were to take a student from another tech center, you might actually just have to contact that tech center if you wanted to know exactly what they got from that tech center. Because
sure.
because
And
medical
that's
assisting
currently-
is so broad, is
That's
like that's
currently what we've
probably what we're
done.
gonna have to do. Is
Yeah.
like if I was to take a student from Francis Tuttle who wanted to come here to complete, I would just have to call Francis Tuttle and say, can you tell me what you teach in your program so I know where to pick up with a student and move on? And we might just have to keep it that way, not in every other program, but in medical assisting. And it's just because of that wide variance.
I will tell you that my goal, I do not think they're going to give us college credit for much of anything until we get to the consistent, what I would consider the phlebotomy level that would be midterm A&P, probably EKG, phlebotomy, and maybe just not some of the health, maybe just not some of the other courses, like I'm trying to find one here. Clinical procedures 1 or clinical procedures 2, or, you know, we may have, see, to me, those would be like the meat that everyone would have, but I don't know how much, and unless I think the only programs, especially with medical assisting, that are going to be able to get credit statewide would be if you're doing like the 960. Just because and here's the thing, most colleges, junior colleges, offer medical assisting anyway. So a lot of them aren't going to give you a lot of prior learning credit.
So what's crazy, Lauren, just because I still do have an articulation agreement with OCCC here, is that's the part they give me credit for, is the clinical procedures and the administrative office. Like they make my students take A&P again and midterm again, and then there's an associate's degree in medical assisting. But the part they give them credit for, the 24 advanced hours, are for the clinical portion. And then OCCC, when they get a student who comes in for the associate's degree in medical assisting, they do all those 4 courses and then they send them to me to get the skills, hands-on skills that they need to work in the doctor's office. So like I get a lot of students referred to me for OCCC for the hands-on clinical procedures portion and insurance and coding portion and the part of the job.
Well, I definitely agree that that's where the meat is. And so, the the clinical office, here's the thing, the other 2 things that I've mentioned are separate certifications. So the one nice thing is they don't finish the whole program. They would still be able to get perhaps a certification and positive follow-up. If we are looking at, and then, I think the day is going to come where we've got a long ways to go though first, and this medical assisting may just be one of our last things that we take to higher ed and say, this is what we want to do, because we really are all over the board. So there may come a time where we're all like, nope, we all want to get credit. So we all agree to do these 4 courses or whatever. And when that day happens, great. But until that day happens, I think we may just have to go with what we have.
Yeah, I agree with you. They're definitely probably going to have to come up in hours to get the colleges to agree to give advanced.
Agreed. Robin Waters, I see you there. I know you, I'm just curious what you're thinking. And Jill, I didn't mean to interrupt. Just you've done this a long time, Robin. That's why I thought you might, if there, you have, you're a key winner. You have taught for 25 years, for God's sake. You can tell me if you're cool with what we're talking about. Why are you pointing at her, Alicia? Like, it's not me. I'm not that old. What? Rude.
She's so wise. Yeah.
She is wise.
Don't make
But your thing is your volume's very low.
How about now?
That's okay. Go ahead. Shout. Are you cool? Robin Waters?
I don't think I know enough yet.
Okay, you're riding that offense, are you? Okay, I see. That's how she's been in education this long. Okay, Jill, did you have something else you wanted to add?
I just had one question. So on the framework now, the certifications that are listed, those are just recommended certifications for that line, correct? So EKG, if that's one we choose, we'll still be able to choose any of the medical assisting certifications.
Yes.
Even though it's EKG.
Yes, I'll make sure that we add those across the bar. But I would like for this group to plan on, just give us a few weeks to put all the information kind of together, and then let us get back with you and submit it back, let you have a couple days to mull it over, and then we'll have another Zoom meeting and finalize how everyone's temperature, see what your temperature is. Good. Okay, well then I'm gonna stop this meeting. Good times, kids. Happy, is today Monday? Oh, it's Tuesday. Okay. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Yay. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, bye.
Thank you.
Bye.